It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom. He's gonna let you know if you should stay home or if you should go. Might even yell if it's a spectacle. From San Francisco to Long Island. 'Cause nothing's better than a motion video.
It's Movie Time is produced and hosted by John DeSando. Listen to broadcast shows Fridays at 4:01 and 8:01 p.m. Read reviews and listen to shows online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Ezra Hoover.
And this is It's Movie Time. And you know, one of the reasons I have you here is for a little comic relief, but also because you have an affinity for South Korean or Korean movies,
Sure,
right?
sure.
And-
Any horror, but they do an especially good job.
Oh boy, they are good. And your wife, Adria, yes, as well. So I have an intuition about this kind of thing. I knew you'd be perfect for this. So Bong Joon-ho
Correct.
is the director here. And I would say in the world today, he's one of the top directors.
Absolutely. With Parasite, he kind of broken onto the scene. He had been around for many decades actually before that, but that's his first critical success, at least in the U.S.
Oh yeah, so when we move into our podcast, which is Back Talk, we'll talk a little bit more about him. Right now we have to really have to take care of, what is it, Mickey 17?
17.
Yeah, this is sci-fi, and usually I'm pretty good about sci-fi, but I need your help on this. First of all, set it up for us.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So Mickey 17 stars Robert Pattinson of Twilight fame, who
Yes.
has really reinvented himself
Yeah.
and is unrecognizable for those who haven't seen him since.
Has he moved on?
It's-
Both of those.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
And she has too.
she has.
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart also, and they're both fantastic actors.
Yes.
Shockingly, but this movie is about the distant future, kind of dystopian future where the technology to reproduce oneself and basically achieve infinite reincarnation is achieved, and Robert Pattinson becomes an expendable, and they use him for dangerous missions because they know if he dies, they just print him out again. Poor guy.
He's such a dork. He doesn't even read the fine print.
He doesn't.
Because he's going to be dying every
He
day.
just wanted out.
And give Pattinson credit. He plays kind of a dimwit, but a likable dimwit.
He does, and he actually plays multiple characters
Yes.
himself.
And so when he gets to be 18,
Mhm.
and you have the two of them, that's the oddity here.
Right.
You get the two of them, that was not meant to be.
It
He's
wasn't.
supposed to die, and he
Right.
didn't die.
It's not allowed in this world. It's illegal. You can't have multiple. You can only print yourself out if you delete
That's
the
right,
old one
multiples,
first.
multiples.
Yes.
They call them multiples.
No multiple.
And he's not quite like him, which is a nice touch, I thought.
No. I think each iteration is slightly different. They hinted that in the movie. We don't see too much of it. But there's a scene where he's talking to himself, and it's fantastic. He's a great actor.
Yes,
It
yes.
almost reminded me of the great Andy Serkis doing Gollum. in
Oh,
Lord of the
okay,
Rings.
yes, for
the
sure.
ability to just switch back and forth at the same time.
Boy, his life changed with that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people suddenly say, who is this?
Oh yeah, and now he's a monkey on screen.
Yeah.
That's great thing.
So what, I mean, you know, what makes this worthy of anybody walking into that theater to see it?
Well, I think any fan of sci-fi and horror, dystopian films, space films, because this is a mashup of all of those.
Yes, it is.
I think Bong Joon-ho is a solid, experienced screenwriter, and I think it's a well-packaged movie. I think it takes on maybe a bit more than it can chew.
Thank you. It is overstuffed.
It does. It is stuffed. But I think Robert Pattinson's performance alone is worth the ticket. Yeah.
And I always get a kick out of Mark Ruffalo.
Right. Oh yeah, Mark Ruffalo. You know, he's another actor that's completely different. I didn't even know about him until his Marvel performances.
Oh, didn't you?
As
Yeah.
the Hulk
yeah.
and Avengers, and he was wasted on those. He's meant to be a slime ball, a baddie. And his character in Mickey 17 reminds me of the one he did in Poor Things.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Very good. Yes,
Right.
thank you. Yeah.
Right. But this one is not quite as good. This
Yeah.
one is kind of a Trump evangelist
You know,
type character.
it is, and that actually makes the movie somewhat for me.
It does.
It may be too much spot on for the Trump satire.
Right.
But he's playing. He is. but he has moved out to this other planet.
Right,
or-
he's become a cult leader of sorts,
Yeah.
and he goes out into space to a planet 4 years away, and there's some kind of race theory in there. There's all kinds of stuff. This movie is chock full. You won't be bored. It's at least 3 different movies, all in the same runtime.
You can never be dull if Toni Collette is your wife.
So Nicolette does her.
Because she goes over the top.
Oh yeah, they had a lot of fun, I think, playing this role.
But they're a cult leader, and there are things that they want out of their cultists that are so reminiscent of what's going on in the world
Right.
in our own time.
Right, and I do think one of the main themes that Bong Joon-ho likes to explore is the imperialism,
Yes.
colonialism,
Yes. Capitalism.
right, capitalism as well. Right?
Yeah.
And I think those themes are definitely explored in this movie. Perhaps not quite as deeply as we could.
No, but he's not afraid, is he, to tackle these
No.
topics?
Oh no.
And there is a lightness about what he does
Mhm.
that makes me say, this is a really profound director.
It is.
I mean, he's taking topics that are actually searing the lives of the people who are
Right.
watching this,
Right.
and lightening that up in a way. And Ruffalo goes over the top
He
as
does.
well as she does.
He does. A lot of people are branding this as a dark comedy. I mean, I guess
Well,
it
they
is.
say it.
Right.
It
Okay.
is. They say it is, but are you skeptical? I said, well, I
Yeah,
would
I'm not
too.
sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I do love that there's balance. Some movies are so heavy. Compare this to a recent space sci-fi movie like Alien, the reinvention of Alien. That's a much heavier movie.
Yes,
And you
yeah.
feel kind of exhausted. This is much more lighthearted.
Well, you
I think.
remind me, there's another movie out there, My Dead Friend Zoe,
Okay.
and it is labeled as a dark comedy.
Is it?
And Zoe, who is actually dead but still haunting her buddy, her best friend in the military,
Mm-hmm.
has lines that are funny,
Right.
but they're hardly qualify the movie as a comedy, even a
Yes.
dark comedy.
Everyone
So-
has their own definition,
so
I think.
this is where the people who promote these films, they want to get that word comedy in there because they don't want you to stay away just because you think it's too heavy.
So I'm curious, we've talked about the movie being multiple pieces. Which part of the movie did you find the most interesting?
Oh boy.
Was it the original kind of kind of doing the Groundhog Day type part, or was it the more straightforward alien encounter part?
I'll tell you, the part that really excites me is the part that we've been talking about, which is the Donald Trumpish satire. That is, I'm always fascinated, and I have been, my God, from my birth on, I've been in the century that's filled with autocrats. And I'm always fascinated by watching what they do and how people respond. And only till recently have I begun to understand how these autocrats flourish.
Right.
I begin to see, they're much like what I used to see on these preachers on TV, these televangelists.
Oh yeah, there's some of that in there.
I used to watch them. I wouldn't give a darn about what they were saying. But what I am interested in is their methods. I mean, how they push people to.
Well, I received quite a few vials of holy water in the mail in an envelope from those guys. I didn't donate anything. I think I got a prayer penny once. I hope I don't offend any religious people, but no prayer pennies.
But their style is fantastic.
Well, they're so charismatic.
Yes, I know.
Which is part of the reason why Mark Ruffalo's portrayal falls a little flat. It's kind of goofy. It's kind of hard to believe people would follow him.
That's a great point.
Right.
He in going over the top,
He does.
he waters down the effect.
A little bit. But you always wonder, why are they following them, and then why did it take so long for them to revolt? And they eventually do in the movie. So it definitely follows real life that way.
Yeah, it does. And so we're probably get to console the people who are listening to our show. They realize that we are neither liberal nor conservative.
We're
We're
in the
pretty
middle.
straight outline. But if they have any hope, it's possible that the people will rise up.
Just go 4 light years away to the nearest planet.
Right, yeah, right. What part for you? I think it's a great question.
I would really hope that they would explore more. There's a lot in there, and I'm sorry, but there will probably be some spoilers in what I'm going to say. But the first of all, the beginning of the process of becoming an expendable is that he has to kill himself, and they have to make sure he's not afraid to do that. So he does. They kind of skip over that. And they also mentioned that each iteration is slightly different. They said number 8 was kind of dumb or something. So
Exactly.
I would like to see more of that. That would be kind of interesting.
And I'll tell you, you remind me that another part that really fascinated me, for which there was no answer. What is it like to die?
Yes, he won't answer the question. Maybe that's on purpose. I almost felt like he did it on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
They kept asking, what's it like to die, and they'd never
Yeah,
answer the
right,
question.
because that's the first question you
Right.
ask somebody who has
What
died.
do you see?
You're right, what's it like? And everybody talks about the light, the tunnel and all that
Right.
stuff. And
Nothing.
I hope they're right, but.
Well, you know what you see
Resurrection-
when you die, at least if you're Mickey, is the inside of a printer.
And that's what they call it, not cloning.
Right.
They call it print. All right, we have much more to say on our podcast, and that is Back Talk. And you have to go to WCBE.org, and you have to listen to us, because we've got a good, 25 minutes more to go, if you can believe it. And we are
Join
going to
us.
talk about some more science fiction, a little bit of cloning, and Ezra's going to say a few words about Pattinson.
Yes.
And so, anyway, but, Ezra, what do you recommend about this movie?
I think you should see it. I think some directors and filmmakers are iconic enough that it's worth at least experiencing their work for yourself. I think it's a solid movie, if perhaps not great, but definitely entertaining.
Look at, yes, along those lines, it's not his greatest movie, and it is his only third, I think, in English.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But if you care about cinema at all, and we have many nerds who watch our show,
Right.
you must see it, because you must see his oeuvre.
Yes.
You have to understand
It's
it.
all about the oeuvre.
And boy, it is so much better than almost anything else out there.
Absolutely.
With John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down